Welcome back to the Miami Sports Vibes YouTube channel. Here to give some updates on the Miami Dolphins training camp. But first, we have to talk about the most relevant news for all Dolphin fans, including myself, that we're excited about. And that is that Dolphins and Zach Sieler have finally reached an agreement on a 3-year extension with $44 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid defensive player on the Miami Dolphins. This is awesome, man. A guy who has worked his tail off, man, who was picked in the 7th round. I mean, this is a guy who has got it out the mud, who's literally shown up, done the dirty work, be a captain, lead by example. And look at this guy. He didn't even hold out, man. This guy went through 10 days. He has been very vocal about how he's wanted to stay in Miami. He's came to training camp. He's participated. He's done some work. And he literally got rewarded for he just deserves it. Everything that you want this culture to be about going forward. Zach Sieler is literally the example of that. So I'm glad that the Dolphins did the right thing and took care of a guy who's literally worked his tail off, showed up to work, delivered, lead by example, be a captain. He checks every single box, and I'm glad that Zach Sieler is here to stay. Well-deserved, Zach Sieler. I'm excited to be seeing him in the aqua and orange going forward. So, and I'm glad that it got out of the way now, before a preseason game, before the regular season. Like, get that done. Like, let's go, Zach. Let's go, Zach. And we all talk about that front, right? That defensive line is going to be something special, man, with him, Kenneth Grant, Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. Listen, he's the head of the snake. So, Zach Sieler, I'm glad that the deal is done. So I want to talk about days. Last time I spoke to you guys was 2 padded practices. I want to share my takeaways on day 8, 9, and 10, right before we get into joint practices against the Chicago Bears this week towards the tail end, which I'm really freaking excited about, because that's when we're really going to get that good evaluation of the team going against other folks, because there's an argument made that, are you really going 100% against your folks, or are you going 95, 96, 97? Whatever it is, it's not 100. But against the Chicago Bears, I think we'll see a lot of that. And then the week after, heading out to Detroit to take on Dan Campbell's team twice. And I think that's going to be a huge, huge, huge sign for us going forward to see where we're at, because you're going against a crazy guy like Dan Campbell. You know he's going to dial it up. And we're going to get to know a lot from this team going forward. But let me share with you guys, starting with day 8, man, who caught my eye? Jack Jones. Finally, he made an interception, made some physical plays, and he's been a guy that's been sprinkling in some highlight plays here and there. Hasn't been a lockdown corner by any means. I mean, he wouldn't be out there in the market if he was that, but he's made some solid plays here and there. I'm worried about consistency, but it's nice to see him deliver. Patrick Paul, another guy. I talked about him on the last video. This guy continues to just be a wall, be a beast, which is awesome to see. I mean, he's playing a freaking huge position here at the tackle position, but it kind of looks like, I don't know if it's mentoring from Teron Armstead and a little bit of development, or maybe a little bit of both. But Patrick Paul really looks like he's ready to go, man. The run game with great contributions on day 8 from everybody. All right, you've been hearing Alexander Madison's name. This guy has been putting up some crazy runs since pads have came on, and he's been delivering. Jalen Wright has sprinkled in some action here. Ollie Gordon also did great things on day 8, and so did Devon Achane. Listen, Eskridge, another touchdown on day 8. I mean, I'm kind of thinking, is this guy worthy of a wide receiver 3? Is he better than Malik Washington? He's putting up a damn good camp. Now, you have a wide receiver room with Azukama, with him, with the 2 Washingtons, Waddle and Hill. So it's a very crowded room, but I think it's a good problem to have. I also, NWI, forgot about him. He's out there as well. But Eskridge has been putting together a nice freaking training camp, to be honest. And he really has his chemistry down with Zach Wilson in particular. So it's going to be interesting to see where the Dolphins slot him. Will he make the team? Wide receiver 4, maybe? Hey, you never know. And then also, you can't listen. The Dolphins are cursed when it comes to injuries. All right. So you need more depth at the end of the day in all positions. Jalen Phillips was a guy that caught my eye in day 8 because he came alive from pass rushing standpoint, but also in coverage. And that's something that we didn't really see him doing since his days in Miami. When he was at Miami Hurricanes, that is. When he was in college, he was playing in coverage a lot. So it was kind of nice to see Anthony Weaver kind of in his bag, tinkering with a couple things with Phillips in particular. Moving on to day 9, Tua had a solid day. No surprise. He's been solid throughout camp. Defensive line continues, And they especially went a little crazier on day 9, where Kenneth Grant got into the mix, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips again, and Zach Sieler as well. And so did Bradley Chubb, got some action. Patrick Paul and Jonah also. Jonah, listen, shout out to Jonah. He's been developing pretty well, and that development continues throughout training camp. So that's a beautiful sign to see. Willie Gay, a guy who does not get enough praise. I mentioned it on my last video. Willie Gay has been a steal of this offseason. I cannot believe that we got a guy with a veteran presence and as effective as he is on this team. He finally got an interception. He's had a great camp every single day since joining this team. And I just can't believe, like, damn, we really got this guy at a value price because he had a down year with the Saints. But Willie Gay has been performing. However, he has not had an orange jersey yet. I think that changes. He has to get one fairly soon, if not the next day, if not today. It has to be coming. It has to be coming. Jalen Phillips, big scare of day 9. He went down with an injury, but he immediately tweeted right away. We didn't have to wait for reports. We didn't have to wait for any MRI. No scare. He went on Twitter himself and said, guys, I'm okay. It was just this, which was a huge sign of relief. I mean, the best tweet of the day for Dolphin fans, because we were all scared. Geez, we cannot lose Jalen Phillips. But nice to see him kind of report and kind of calm us down himself. We didn't have to wait to see what Barry Jackson or Omar, Travis Wingfield, anybody reported. Jalen Phillips got us. Eskridge was carted off on day 9. That kind of put a little scare to me, but he did return in day 10. And day 10, Mike Hilton also, he arrived to the scene with physicality. That's a guy who I haven't really heard too much of since joining this team, but I'm not worried about Mike Hilton. He's a veteran. He's got it. When you look at the rest of the cornerbacks, I think we're kind of set. And I think he's probably the best guy who can guard in the nickel position. So, but it's nice to see him arrive with physicality. Tua finally threw his first interception of training camp to Minkah Fitzpatrick for an 80-yard pick and return. Minkah Fitzpatrick continues to freaking ball out. He continues to be everywhere, doing big things, blowing up plays, getting interceptions. Minkah has been everywhere, and that is awesome to see. A guy who's had a quiet training camp. I want to say this with respect. It's Tyreek Hill, but I think Tyreek Hill is kind of a guy that's kind of taking it easy, right? We all know we can't afford an injury to Tyreek Hill. We all know who Tyreek Hill is. I'm not worried about chemistry with Tua, anything. These guys have been playing together. They know he knows how to get the ball to Tyreek Hill, but he turned it up a notch finally for the first time in training camp, and he had a pretty damn good practice, man. A couple highlight plays out there. He was everywhere, which was a beautiful sign to see. Bradley Chubb also has been delivering back-to-back good practices. That's a beautiful sign to see with the pads on. We know how physical Bradley Chubb is. And I thought day 10 was a lot of iron sharpens iron, which is a good sign. All right. You obviously improved there, and that is a great sign going forward. We did have an injury scare with Alec Ingold. Prayers out to him. It actually was, he ended up being diagnosed going on concussion protocol. So that's something that we have to keep an eye on going forward for Alec Ingold. Hopefully everything is all right there and he doesn't miss too much time, but a huge bummer for Alec Ingold. That's a guy who is well respected in the Dolphins locker room. But overall, man, I'm kind of pleased with the way training camp has gone so far. I think we're seeing a lot of good highlights from a lot of different players. I'm hearing a lot of good things from the players that I'm kind of, keeping an eye on. That just excites me, man. Willie Gay, I like to hear about Patrick Paul. I like to hear about Minkah's presence. I like that Tua has had a solid camp. I like that the backups, Quinn Ewers and Zach Wilson, they have had good camps. And other guys stepping up. I like that Waddle's catching the ball a lot better than last year, making highlight plays, kind of being that go-to guy. I think Dolphin fans should be excited for this season because we're kind of seeing a lot of good things and a lot of good things to look forward to. But still, as I mentioned, the joint practices is kind of where we're really going to get a feel if this is for real or this is for fake, or where exactly we stand, what we kind of need to work hard on. So I'm looking forward to this joint practice this week against Chicago. I'll be right back here on this YouTube channel to break down my thoughts on it. So keep it locked in here. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up button to support the channel as well. I will gladly appreciate it. And I will see you guys right here next time. Peace.